A brutal kick lands with blinding speed, sending a shockwave through the training hall. His attack is met by a fist blocking the next blow, a perfect counter. As Su-hong spars with his training partner in the bustling gym, pushing his limits, his friend recoils in pain, admitting the strike was far more powerful than he expected. This partner notes Su-hong's diamond fist has reached the subtle mastery level so quickly. This places him at the third of 5 stages, far beyond a simple beginner's proficiency. In awe, his partner declares that no one else in their class can even compare. But Su-hong is not satisfied and immediately demands they continue their intense training. Fed up, his friend calls him a training maniac and decides to leave for the day. On his way out, he says goodbye to their instructor, Teacher Lee, who seems unimpressed. This teacher then turns his full focus to Su-hong, asking about the martial science exam, questioning why our boy has not paid the 30,000 yuan registration fee, which is due soon. Desperately, Su-hong asks for more time, but the teacher states the rules are absolute. Left alone in the vast, empty gym, the weight of the world crashes down on him, and the staggering amount echoes in his mind, an impossible obstacle to his dream. Our story begins with a tragic memory, a boy orphaned by a beast disaster at only 3 years old. Taken in by his aunt and uncle's family, they fully supported his burgeoning talent for martial arts, because in this era of rampant beasts, skilled martial artists are the world's most valued professionals. He trained relentlessly to give them a better life, but now feels he is only making things harder for them. Returning home late one night through the quiet streets, he overhears his family discussing their money problems, deciding to pay for his cousin's future over their own rent. Believing his cousin Zio Hong has too much talent to let their financial troubles hold him back. And the sacrifice deepens as his aunt offers to stop her medicine, though his uncle refuses to let her. This weight of their sacrifice settles heavily on his shoulders, a burden he can no longer ignore. Overwhelmed by guilt and desperation, he knows he has to do something to change their situation. But he puts on a brave face as he enters, greeted by his concerned aunt and uncle, who still prioritize his well-being above all else, urging him to rest for his training. Alone in his room that night, the moonlight streams through the window, and he makes a firm resolution to stop being a burden and solve these problems himself. His mind settling on the one place a martial artist can earn a fortune in just a few days. This following day, he arrives at a sleek, imposing tower, ready for what is next. Inside is a roaring underground arena where the only rule is to win or be defeated, and a host introduces the night's main attraction, a powerful fighter called the Minotaur Gentleman. Beneath the mask, our boy knows the stakes: 4 straight wins for the prize money or nothing. This crowd scoffs at the unknown challenger, calling his attempt a rookie's suicide mission. Back in the ring, the announcer tells him to get passionate and give the audience a show, explaining that he needs to provoke them, to insult them, because that is how it works here. So he takes her advice, flexing for the crowd and bellowing that he is completely invincible. His sudden arrogance works perfectly, turning the entire audience against him in an instant. And chance to take down the Minotaur fill the air as the first match is announced. He feels the intense killing intent, but his focus is on the tuition money he desperately needs. A cocky fighter in a monkey mask leaps forward, eager to start the fight. But the Minotaur calmly analyzes his foe's unstable stance, sensing an easy opening, and the monkey mask challenger closes the distance, throwing a furious punch at his head. Only to find our boy's hand waiting, crackling with a strange blue energy. This red-masked fighter brutally pins his opponent to the ground, dominating the match. Across the arena, another match ends with a decisive, brutal knockout. A new champion Minotaur stands victorious and calls for the next challenger. This entire stadium roars with excitement for the next brutal round. His next opponent steps into the ring, a cocky fighter promising his luck has run out. Minotaur sees this as a perfect chance to test the power of his diamond fist. This challenger immediately rushes forward, throwing the first punch of the match, but Minotaur meets the attack head-on, their fists colliding with raw power. Instantly, he senses his opponent's strength is far weaker than his own, unleashing a counterpunch that shatters the challenger's guard completely. His opponent's technique is all wrong, leaving his entire lower body exposed. A weakness Minotaur exploits with a devastating kick to the man's side, sending him flying across the ring with overwhelming force. With his second consecutive win, the announcer declares Minotaur the victor once again, leaving him alone in the center of the massive, cheering arena. Watching from a private room, an influential man notes the kid's extraordinary power. His 3 consecutive wins make him a perfect candidate for a fixed match. A masked subordinate volunteers to recruit the fighter, ordered to hide his own advanced rank. Su-hong reflects on his diamond fist mastery, making these opponents seem simple, with only one more victory needed to secure the massive 60,000 yuan prize money. This final opponent is revealed to be the fighter known as White Fox. Murmurs of disbelief ripple through the crowd as a quasi-warrior faces a mere apprentice. Knowing this match will be difficult, but defeat is simply not an option. Across the ring, the masked White Fox smirks with chilling confidence, casually promising to control his strength so the fight is not over too quickly. With the announcer's signal, the final challenge for the prize money officially begins, and the 2 fighters explode into motion, closing the distance in a blur. Realizing his opponent is on another level, Su-hong decides to go all out immediately, unleashing his most powerful punch in the very first exchange of the match. But his attack is stopped cold, revealing a strength far beyond any quasi-warrior. He is revealed to be a true warrior, deliberately suppressing his own blood energy. His opponent, the fox-masked fighter, calmly prepares to unleash a devastating attack, unleashing a technique called the Thunder Rush Fist with blinding speed and precision. This sheer force of the blows staggers our boy, who feels the true strength of a warrior. In the stands, spectators recognize the legendary triple Thunder Rush Fist, declaring Minotaur finished. A relentless barrage of strikes rains down on him, his opponent demanding he fight back. Barely blocking the onslaught, he knows that at this rate he is sure to lose. As the masked fighter closes in again, Minotaur desperately searches for an opening to counter. He manages to parry another powerful blow, holding his ground for just a moment. But the sheer force of the impact shatters his defense with a deafening crack, sending him flying across the arena floor, completely overpowered by the strike. His consciousness begins to fade as he lies defeated on the cold, hard ground, and the victor stands over him, declaring he will not receive a single cent of the prize money. He is then offered a deal to fix matches for a teacher, but Minotaur flatly refuses the shameless proposition, leaving the masked man to issue a chilling warning about the price of his defiance. Minotaur glares up from the floor, accusing his opponent of dishonoring the name of martial artists. This fox-masked man scoffs at his defiance, coldly confirming that their deal is officially off. He then lunges forward with a vicious kick, promising to end Su Hong's fighting career forever. But our boy's spirit remains unbroken, his eyes burning with the will of a true warrior. A powerful blow sends Minotaur spinning through the air, crashing hard against the arena floor. Yet somehow he rises again, his body wreathed in a fiery aura of pure determination. Shock fills the fox-masked fighter, stunned that anyone could survive his signature Thunder Rush Fist. In his mind, Su Hong sees his family's faces, their sacrifices fueling his resolve to win. This thought of failing them is a future he absolutely refuses to accept, a shattered nightmare. Suddenly, a mysterious voice asks what he is willing to sacrifice for his family and beliefs. His answer is absolute as dark energy erupts from his body, willing to sacrifice everything. With this declaration, his power surges to an entirely new and terrifying level. Everything around him dissolves, leaving Su Hong unmasked in a strange, glitching digital space. Standing alone in a vast, dark chamber, he wonders where this mysterious place could be. And before him materializes a colossal, radiant being of immense power and authority. A mysterious golden entity appears before him, offering a single chance. This world around him dissolves into a swirling vortex of golden energy, and before him a strange, glowing panel materializes out of thin air. This status window details all his skills and current mastery levels. Reaching out, Su Hong touches the screen, trying to understand what it is, which reveals a new quest, a beginner tutorial to perfect his techniques. He scoffs at the idea of a tutorial as a digital clone of himself forms nearby. Without warning, the clone lunges forward, launching a swift and powerful attack. Su Hong barely dodges the strike, immediately noticing the clone's flawless form. Realizing this copy uses his own diamond fist but with textbook-perfect execution. Seeing this as a perfect chance to learn, he prepares to meet the next blow head-on. Their fists colliding as he blocks the clone's perfectly aimed strike, wondering if this fight is meant to be a live demonstration of his own potential. But the lesson is brutal as the clone lands a devastating blow to his midsection, sending him staggering backward, completely outmatched by his perfect counterpart. A status window shows his diamond fist mastery has already jumped to 10%, and he realizes this digital space lets him level up his martial skills at an incredible rate. He clashes with his clone again, their movements blurring across the digital floor. With every exchange, his skill proficiency for diamond fist and void step skyrockets. This brutal training continues as countless skill windows pop up, charting his rapid growth. Soon, his floating light palm hits 100%, evolving into subtle mastery, and his void step follows suit, also reaching its peak and advancing to a higher tier. Until finally, his diamond fist breaks through to the level of grand achievement. His digital opponent shatters into golden particles, leaving Su Hong panting but victorious. A system notification confirms the quest is complete, asking if he wants to return to reality, and with his agreement he is back in the arena, facing his opponent with a new, fiery aura. Annoyed by this sudden display, the fox-masked fighter lunges forward to attack, unleashing a furious punch meant to end the fight once and for all. But to Su Hong, the attack now seems impossibly slow and easy dodge, leaving the fox-masked man in shock as a counterpunch is already waiting for him. This final blow connects with shattering force, ending the brutal match in an instant, and Su Hong emerges from the chaos, his victory absolute and undeniable. A wave of disbelief washes over the entire stadium, stunning the crowd into silence, leaving Minotaur standing alone over his defeated opponent, the new champion. He turns to the announcer, demanding the prize money he fought so hard to win, while the influential man marvels at an apprentice mastering a warrior's technique. Intrigued by this anomaly, he orders his men to follow the fighter and uncover his identity. Later that night, Su Hong walks through a deserted alley, prize money in hand, but a sudden glance reveals he is not alone, sensing a shadow behind him. This two suited men round the corner only to find the alley completely empty, frantically searching for their target who has vanished without a single trace. High above, Su Hong easily evades them, clinging between the walls of the narrow passage. An hour later, he finally arrives back at the quiet streets of his neighborhood. His aunt and uncle stare in disbelief at the mountain of cash, asking if he robbed a bank. So he spins a tale about a dojo sponsorship, though his uncle remains deeply suspicious. Su-hong returns to his family, confidently asking his aunt and uncle to trust him. Overjoyed, they praise him for making something of himself, their pride shining through. Later that night, he finds a quiet moment alone on the building's rooftop, reflecting on how their rent, exam fees, and medical expenses are finally settled. He credits the system for their salvation, checking his stats on the glowing panel. A new notification reveals he earned 67 Martial Dao points for defeating a stronger foe. Seeing an opportunity to grow stronger, he immediately decides to allocate his new points, and his eyes widen as his blood energy instantly surges to a new level. A powerful aura flares around his body as the raw energy courses through him. Realizing his blood energy has reached 90, the official level of a quasi-warrior. Without hesitation, he dumps all his remaining points into his blood energy stat. Feeling his injuries heal and his body fill with an endless, overwhelming power. Needing to test his new limits, he leaps effortlessly across the city rooftops. Deciding the school's martial arena has the combat power tester he needs, he soon arrives at the massive, empty arena under the moonlight, ready for a trial. Back at school, Su-hong approaches a combat power tester, ready to measure his new abilities. Deciding to test his limits by striking the machine with 70% of his power. With one eye glowing ominously, he unleashes the full force of his focused strike, and his fist connects with the machine, creating a blinding flash of raw, destructive energy. Stunned by the outcome, Su-hong can only stare in disbelief at the aftermath, as the entire machine is left smoking and shattered, making him worry about the replacement cost. Realizing he is in trouble, he makes a quick escape from the arena under the cover of night. An enraged school official discovers the wreckage, immediately blaming two notorious troublemakers for the destruction. Fuming with rage, the old man vows to deliver a harsh punishment to the culprits once school begins. Later, the entire student body gathers in the gymnasium for what seems to be a school-wide assembly, where gossip spreads about one of the accused, Chen Shan, who now sports a fresh injury. This rumor mill reveals Chen Shan actually took the fall for destroying the tester, earning him the principal's wrath. On stage, an official introduces a special guest, a Tier 3 warrior invited to teach a C-rank technique, an announcement that stuns the students, who know such advanced training normally costs a fortune. Su-hong watches the demonstration, instantly recognizing the Thunder Rush Fist from his fight with White Fox. Su-hong knows this is a priceless opportunity, vowing to seize this chance to learn the C-rank art. On stage, the guest warrior skips the lecture, promising only 10 live demonstrations for everyone to learn from. He unleashes the Thunder Rush Fist, explaining its power creates a thunderclap even at the beginner level. While higher master levels can produce 3 or even 5 thunderous shockwaves, this instructor then showcases his own grand achievement, unleashing a blinding flurry of 7 thunderclaps, telling the students to manage their expectations and aim only for the first level for now. With that, the entire student body begins the grueling training, mimicking his every move in unison. But after hours of practice, most are exhausted and completely lost, unable to grasp the basics. Frustration mounts as one student collapses, lamenting the sheer difficulty of C-rank martial arts, and a classmate turns to ask Su-hong for help only to find he has vanished from his spot. Just then, the school's top genius, Chen Shan, erupts with a fiery aura, finally reaching the beginner level, an achievement that impresses the school official but leaves the guest instructor looking dismissive. Later, the two men walk outside the gymnasium, discussing the students' overall performance. And the instructor dismisses the official's disappointment, noting that one success is better than none, concluding that the path of a warrior is cruel, where talent and fortune far outweigh simple hard work. This school officials stare in utter disbelief at the display of raw power, wondering how a student could possibly master the 7-clap Thunder Rush Fist. This guest warrior is stunned a student reached grand achievement after just one lesson. While the principal asks if he truly heard 9 thunderous claps from the technique, suddenly a flash of insight hits the warrior as he understands everything. His own fist beginning to crackle with a brilliant golden lightning, he unleashes his own Thunder Rush Fist with newfound understanding and power, finally breaking through to the 8th clap inspired by Su-hong's demonstration. Realizing the student's genius, he urges the principal to find him immediately. But they arrive at the training grounds only to find he has vanished completely. Meanwhile, Su-hong walks home, reflecting on the exhausting D-rank skill training. Checking his status window to see his Thunder Rush Fist is already at perfect mastery, he soon arrives at the Rage Thunder Dojo, his place of work, where inside dozens of martial artists are engaged in rigorous spear training, and a fellow student greets him, surprised to see him show up for practice. A purple-haired student brutally stomps on another, asserting his dominance in the dojo, snarling that his teacher's instruction is perfect and the student is simply too weak to understand. Nearby, another student explains to Su-hong that this new instructor is powerful but arrogant, and his top disciple, a guy named Li Yan, is just as cruel and strong as his master. Li Yan then throws a punch at another challenger, mocking his opponent's pathetic skill level. But his fist is suddenly stopped dead in its tracks by an unexpected hand, revealing Su-hong, who calmly suggests they keep their sparring to just light contact. Amused by the interruption, Li Yan challenges him to a proper one-on-one fight, which Su-hong accepts. but their confrontation is cut short by the instructor, who demands the class begin immediately. Forced to back down, Li Yan tells Su-hong he just got lucky this time around. And Su-hong can only watch him go, noting the disciple's unchecked arrogance. This instructor begins the lesson, announcing a single demonstration of the Rage Sea Spear technique, unleashing a powerful and complex move with the long-handled weapon for all to see, privately scoffing that none of these useless students could ever hope to learn it so quickly. Yet Su-hong stands ready with a spear, an aura of understanding already surrounding him. Su-hong's eyes lock onto the instructor, absorbing every detail of the spear technique. This instructor offers a single demonstration, leaving the students to learn on their own, while students in the back complain unable to see the moves clearly. But Su-hong already grasps its core, visualizing the spear as a surging flood dragon. With intense focus, he begins to practice, channeling the technique's fluid energy, his movements mimicking the demonstration with shocking and immediate precision. This entire class watches in disbelief, wondering if they are just too dumb to learn it. Drawn by the commotion, the instructor emerges, demanding to know who learned the technique, and he finds Su-hong standing before him, spear in hand, the move perfectly executed. Intrigued by this apparent genius, the instructor decides to test the boy's skills himself, calling out to Su-hong with an offer to give him some personal pointers on his form. Su-hong accepts the challenge, stepping into the center of the training hall to face him. A nearby student warns the instructor's companion that Su-hong's strength is real, advising caution, but our boy simply readies his stance, calmly asking the instructor to guide him. This instructor then unleashes his own attack, revealing his Rage Sea Spear is at subtle mastery. Su-hong calmly meets the instructor's attack, his focus absolute. He then unleashes his own Rage Sea Spear, already at the proficient level, leaving the instructor completely stunned by this impossible display of talent. Su-hong's form is perfect, channeling the raging water with expert precision, and their spears collide in a deafening crash of steel and raw energy. This instructor is thrown back, questioning how a mere student mastered the art so quickly, while Su-hong's eyes burn with a golden, overwhelming power. In a single decisive blow, the arrogant instructor is completely overpowered. A new notification rewards him with 35 martial Dao points for defeating a stronger warrior. As the instructor kneels in utter disbelief, his pride completely shattered. His years of grueling training suddenly feel worthless in the face of such raw genius. And consumed by rage, he lunges forward to strike Su-hong with his bare fist. But our boy effortlessly catches the punch, telling him it is enough. Frozen in place, the instructor's attack is halted as his own teacher suddenly appears in the hall. This new master scolds his disciple for his pathetic display, asking what kind of martial artist he is. Li Yan stares in utter disbelief, completely humbled by Su-hong's overwhelming talent. And the instructor realizes this kid learned the technique just by watching, a feat beyond even capital geniuses. Forcing his disciple to bow, the instructor apologizes for Li Yan's arrogance, calling the defeat a needed lesson. Su-hong notes the man's sudden change of heart, wary of his quick shift in attitude. Later that night, he walks home exhausted but satisfied with the day's incredible gains, checking his status to see both new techniques mastered and a fresh stash of martial Dao points. His thoughts then turn to the upcoming school exam, where a proper weapon is essential for success. So he decides to stick with the spear, determined to buy a high-grade alloy version. But the price tag on a suitable weapon is staggering, far more than he can afford with his family's needs, leaving him desperate for cash as he wanders through a store searching for any possible solution. A news report catches his eye. The city is offering huge rewards for hunting fierce beasts outside the walls. And the dangerous idea takes root in his mind, a high-risk path to the money he needs. Meanwhile, his uncle insists on working despite his injuries, refusing to burden Su-hong any further. Arriving home, Su-hong finds his family still up, their concern for him evident, and he gently takes his aunt's hand, insisting she rest while he takes care of things now. Su-hong tends to his uncle's injuries, urging him to retire and let him provide. But his uncle cheerfully insists he will keep working just a little to help out. His aunt agrees, explaining they want to save every penny for his future training expenses, and Su-hong is touched by their unwavering dedication to his success. This deepens his resolve to hunt fierce beasts for the bounty money they desperately need. To prepare for the dangerous wilderness, he dumps all his martial Dao points into blood energy, causing his power to surge to 95.2, placing him on the very cusp of becoming a warrior. After 2 grueling days of non-stop training, all his martial skills have reached perfect completion, and with his preparations finally finished, he decides it is time to leave the city. He soon arrives at the massive Star City warrior base, a fortress far from home, walking through the bustling grounds for the very first time in his life. Surrounded by seasoned warriors armed to the teeth, a common sight only here. He studies a bounty list, noting the high rewards for hunting fierce beasts. Learning the primitive rule for payment requires cutting off a beast's left ear as proof, and watches as another hunter turns in a bag of trophies at the settlement counter. Su-hong watches as a team of warriors is mobilized for a mission outside the city walls. Their leader, a blonde man called Young Master Yi, struts forward with an air of arrogance, and his swagger immediately reminds Su-hong of White Fox from the underground arena. Overhearing nearby gossip, he learns this so-called master was recently beaten up, which only increases his caution as he watches the group depart. Young Master Yi glances back with a knowing, almost challenging smirk, but Su Hong's gaze remains steady, unfazed by the silent confrontation. This encounter reinforces his belief that humans can be just as dangerous as beasts, so he proceeds to the massive gate where a guard questions him for going out alone. This official simply sighs, writing him off as another ignorant kid destined for failure, and Su Hong steps out of the dark passage into the bright, sprawling wilderness. He clenches his fist, determined to return from this expedition with a full haul. Yet 2 hours later, the forest remains eerily silent and empty. Wondering if all the fierce beasts on the outskirts have already been hunted down, to find his prize, he decides to venture deeper into the untamed forest. After a long search, a sudden rustle in the trees puts him on high alert, and from the shadows emerges a massive, red-eyed wolf, its fangs bared. Su Hong identifies it as a lower-stage fierce beast, the Shadow Moon Wolf from his textbooks, and the creature lets out a ferocious roar, its killing intent flooding the clearing. It lunges forward in a blur of white fur and deadly claws. Its attack aimed directly at his throat, a single strike meant to kill. But Su Hong sidesteps the lunge with ease, his own fist already crackling with power. Channeling the full force of his thunder rush fist into a single point, he unleashes the devastating blow, slamming it directly into the beast's skull, sending the creature flying with a pained yelp as its body crashes into a distant tree. This Shadow Moon Wolf lies defeated, and Su Hong stands over it victorious. A thrill runs through him, the rush of real combat far more intense than he imagined. Confident he can one-shot lower-stage beasts, he wonders about his next challenge. And as if on cue, a Tier 1 middle-stage raging black bear emerges from the woods. This new opponent is clearly more dangerous, its face marked by a fresh, angry scar. Su Hong stands over his first kill, confident he can avoid any real danger out here, and he carves off the beast's ear, already calculating the 3,000 reward money. A system notification then appears, confirming he has enough points to become a warrior. But a sudden, overwhelming sense of dread cuts his celebration short, as he feels an immense presence deeper in the woods, a truly powerful beast. Driven by curiosity, he leaps through the trees to investigate the source of the energy, landing on a high rock to see what is causing the commotion below. He finds a massive black jade python battling a team of struggling warriors. Two fighters desperately try to hold their ground, their shields no match for the beast's might, until a brutal tail whip sends one of them flying into the cliffside. Su Hong watches from his perch, his expression hardening at the brutal display, while the colossal serpent looms over the remaining fighters, ready to strike again. This arrogant young Master Yi from the base leaps in, aiming for the python's head. But the beast's tail moves in a blur, smashing into the ground with terrifying force, leaving pools of fresh blood staining the earth as the fight takes a deadly turn. Su Hong kneels over the body of a fallen hunter, his own spear planted nearby, wiping a trickle of blood from his lip, injured but undeterred by the struggle, and he decides to borrow the defeated man's weapon for the real hunt ahead. Just moments later, he confronts a massive black jade python looming over him. And the monstrous serpent lunges downward with its fangs bared for the kill. This is an upper-stage fierce beast, a monster that usually requires an entire team to take down, but with all his skills at perfect completion, Su Hong is confident he can handle it alone. He launches himself forward, using his incredible speed to close the distance. Now certain he has the power to face the black jade python head-on. Unleashing his Rage Sea Spear technique, he channels a torrent of watery energy, aiming the powerful strike directly at the beast's massive, vulnerable eye. But the python reacts instantly, its massive jaws snapping at the incoming threat, forcing Su Hong to change tactics and land a powerful blow on its thick scales instead. This attack barely scratches the creature, but our boy remains poised, his aura flaring, his glowing eyes fixed on the target as he prepares to strike one more time. Su Hong unleashes a devastating spear thrust, glowing with immense power, striking the massive, two-headed blackwater python with a flash of light. This beast thrashes wildly, forcing him to use afterimages to evade its crushing coils. Knowing the size difference means he must weaken it before landing a final blow, he narrowly dodges a whip-like tail strike, the wind roaring past his face, then counters with a perfectly executed thunder rush fist, slamming it into the beast's hide. Immediately after the successful attack, he leaps back to create a safe distance, constantly looking for another opening to strike and then quickly retreat. This exhausting hit-and-run tactic is his only safe option against such a monster. And the enraged python trembles, its glowing eyes fixed on the persistent human. With renewed determination, Su Hong grips his spear, ready for another round. But a sudden sound from the trees makes him whip his head around, his eyes narrowing as he senses an unexpected presence in the forest. A masked warrior with a flaming fist suddenly appears, laughing from above, and Su Hong braces for impact as the mysterious stranger lunges in for an attack. This masked warrior's kick sends Su Hong flying, a brutal ambush from out of nowhere. Coughing on the ground, Su Hong struggles to recover from the unexpected blow, and he looks up to see an entire team of hunters approaching, led by a familiar face. It is young Master Yi's crew, with their leader smugly demanding he hand over the python, leaving Su Hong completely outnumbered and cornered by the opportunistic warriors. This arrogant leader mocks him, admitting he saw him leave the city and expected him to die, never imagining he'd survive and conveniently weaken a black jade python for them. Su Hong realizes they were just tracking the beast, arriving to steal the kill from him. One of the brutes steps forward, ordering him to get lost before they get violent. But a dark expression crosses Su Hong's face, his patience clearly worn thin. He scoffs at their arrogance, his fist crackling with red energy as he prepares to fight back, unleashing a concentrated blast of power directly at the masked goon, whose eyes widen in shock at the terrifying force of the counterattack. This punch lands with explosive impact, shattering the man's mask and sending him reeling, dropping the ambusher to the ground while his stunned teammates can only watch. Young Master Yi recognizes his opponent's powerful diamond fist, identifying him as Minotaur. But the arrogant swagger reminds Su Hong of a different foe, the calculating white fox. Now in the forest, he seethes over his recent public humiliation, and he orders his men to hunt down and kill a new target. A red-haired warrior flees across the rocky landscape as the hunters pursue him, leading them deep into the dense woods, a perfect place for an ambush. This fleeing man smirks confidently, questioning if they are really scared of one person, until a dark shape suddenly erupts from the trees with blinding speed, and Su Hong's glowing eyes lock onto his prey, ready to strike. He unleashes a devastating blow that sends the red-haired man crashing through the undergrowth, leaving the target stunned and bleeding heavily on the forest floor. Young Master Yi can only stare in disbelief at Su Hong's impossible velocity. While his subordinate identifies the technique as a perfectly mastered Thunder Rush Fist, this arrogant leader is completely floored, wondering how anyone could perfect two such powerful skills. From a safe distance, Su Hong watches, knowing he is too drained from the python fight to face them all head-on. Outnumbered by the hunters, Su Hong decides to pick them off one by one, and a sudden spear strike slams into the ground, startling the three men. Appearing from above, his glowing eyes lock onto one terrified hunter, and with a flash of blue light, he lands a devastating punch on the man's head. Young Master Yi and his remaining crony can only watch as their comrade is sent flying, prompting the subordinate to urge a retreat, but his master scoffs at the idea. As his partner flees for his life, young Master Yi vows to kill Su Hong no matter what. But our boy is already a blur, instantly closing in on the escaping hunter. A brutal kick sends the second man crashing violently into the dirt, leaving young Master Yi stunned at how much stronger Su Hong has become in just days. Now only the arrogant master remains, his confident demeanor completely gone. He stumbles back in a panic, cursing his terrible miscalculation, only for Su Hong to appear right behind him, declaring it is finally his turn. Refusing to be cornered, the blonde warrior turns to unleash a desperate attack. But Su Hong counters with his own technique, the deadly void-piercing finger. Su Hong narrowly dodges a powerful blue energy slash from his opponent. This missed attack obliterates a massive tree in a shower of splinters, revealing young Master Yi, who unleashes a barrage of void-piercing finger attacks, and Su Hong recognizes the technique's immense power, wondering if it is a B-rank skill. Young Master Yi then threatens to annihilate Su Hong's entire family if he gets hurt. But this threat only ignites a cold, murderous rage within our boy. With his spear in hand, Su Hong leaps into action, his own energy flaring, while the arrogant master tries to intimidate him by boasting of his powerful family connections. Suddenly, Su Hong appears right behind him, his fist crackling with red lightning, telling the terrified man he preferred his earlier arrogance before unleashing the attack. Young Master Yi's face contorts in shock and terror as the blow closes in. And Su Hong's fist connects with brutal, unforgiving force right across his jaw, sending the so-called master flying off the side of the cliff in a broken heap. Su Hong calmly watches from the edge as his opponent's body disappears below. His red aura blazing, he coldly states that threatening his family was a fatal mistake. Beaten and bloody, young Master Yi cannot believe a non-warrior possesses such strength. His terror growing as the massive black jade python looms over him for the final blow, and his eyes widen in sheer horror at his impending doom. This serpent's tail smashes down, finishing the arrogant master once and for all. Meanwhile, Su Hong realizes the beast has recovered its strength during their long fight, and Yi's remaining men regroup, foolishly wondering where their leader has gone. One of the masked hunters turns with a determined glare, ready to hunt his target. Just as Su Hong charges from the woods, telling them to get out of his way. But the enraged python erupts from the trees right behind him, trapping the hunters. Using the beast as a weapon, he leads its devastating tail strike into an enemy warrior, earning unexpected martial Dao points for the indirect kill as the man is sent flying. A bead of sweat rolls down his face as he processes this brutal, clever tactic. Now with enough points, Su Hong leaps onto the python's back, ready to become a warrior, vaulting into the trees to find a safe place for his breakthrough. His eyes lock onto a nearby cave, the perfect sanctuary for his transformation. Su Hong leaps into the chasm after the wounded python, determined to finish the fight, and the beast's massive body slams into the canyon floor with a ground-shattering impact. Landing gracefully, Su Hong finds the serpent momentarily stunned from the fall. But the monster erupts from the rubble, its fangs bared for a desperate counterattack. Taking a knee, Su Hong quickly checks his stats, seeing his blood energy is nearly maxed out, and he frantically pours his remaining points into pushing past his physical limits. A surge of power flows through him, his blood energy boiling like magma in his veins, finally breaking through the threshold to become a true Tier 1 warrior. He rises to his feet, now radiating a completely different level of power, telling the now cautious python that the real fight is about to begin. With newfound confidence, he channels his enhanced energy into a single glowing fist, striking the beast's thick hide with a blow that tears right through its scales. This python roars in agony as a column of golden light erupts from the wound, leaving the monster bleeding and critically injured from the devastating strike, as Su Hong unleashes his perfected diamond fist for the finishing blow. Su Hong rockets along the python's back, aiming a final decisive strike at its head, but his red energy fist is not enough, forcing him to switch tactics midair. Gritting his teeth through the pain, he channels his remaining power for one last push, his grip tightening on the spear as it crackles with brilliant blue energy. He plunges downward like a meteor, driving the glowing weapon straight into the beast's skull, and the python convulses as the powerful attack pierces its thick hide. Not taking any chances, he follows up with a devastating Thunder Rush Fist, slamming his supercharged attack directly into the creature's fresh wound, a final explosive blow that ends the monstrous serpent's life for good. Standing victorious, Su Hong notes the python was already tired but takes the kill anyway. Then he wonders how to claim his reward before deciding to just head back. Down at the bottom of the cliff, he finds the broken body of young Master Yi, approaching the defeated foe with an unreadable expression on his face. This arrogant master is somehow still alive, barely conscious on the ground, prompting Su Hong to search him, hoping to find that high-level martial skill. Having defeated his rival, Su Hong now holds the powerful void-piercing finger manual, finding a secluded canyon where he makes camp for the night beside the slain python. He seals himself inside a hidden cave, determined to master this new power without interruption. And after memorizing the basics, he plans to use his system to accelerate his training. Inside the system's training space, he manifests a glowing opponent to begin his practice. Blue energy crackles around him as he starts to channel the complex new martial art, his proficiency with the technique skyrocketing as the system pushes his mastery to near perfection. But the strain is immense, leaving him coughing even after just reaching the beginner level. Acknowledging the B-rank skill's immense pressure, he decides to test its power on a real monster. 3 days later, his search leads him to a monstrous red-eyed bear roaring through the forest, and he unleashes the void-piercing finger, a beam of energy that tears right through the beast. With the skill now perfected after countless trials, he decides it is time to head back, arriving at the bustling warrior base, a fortress teeming with other hunters. Inside, a crowd gathers around the famous Thunder Squad as they cash in an enormous haul, onlookers marveling that their loot consists entirely of high-tier beasts, a truly impressive feat. This famous Thunder Squad cashes in their impressive haul, earning over 400,000 coins from high-tier beasts. Su Hong sweats nervously, worried his own large kill count has made him far too conspicuous. Suddenly, a massive disturbance erupts in the base's central plaza, sending everyone into a panic. This crowd wonders how the fortress could possibly be attacked with so many powerful warriors inside. A furious base director, young Master Yi's uncle, immediately orders a complete lockdown of the facility. One of his subordinates approaches, demanding to know what is causing all the chaos, and the director roars that his nephew Yi Feng and his entire team have been killed. This news sends a shockwave through the onlookers, who cannot believe the 5-man team was wiped out. Some warriors quietly celebrate, glad the tyrannical young Master Yi finally got what was coming to him. Using this as a pretext, the director declares a B-rank skill is missing and everyone will be searched. Su Hong believes he is safe, assuming they will blame the deaths on the python he fought earlier. From within the crowd, he watches the director's men begin their sweep of the area, but a cold dread fills him as he realizes their eyes are locked directly on him. This crowd parts as the director and his enforcers make a direct path toward our boy. His face a mask of rage, he notes Su Hong's impressive kill count and supposed skills. A menacing official notes Su Hong's impressive haul, his suspicion growing, as his subordinate doubts Su Hong's strength, accusing him of stealing from young Master Yi. 2 agents with flaming fists step forward, warning our boy not to resist their search. But before they can react, something moves with blinding speed. And Su Hong's spear is suddenly at an agent's throat, the man stunned by his velocity. Our boy calmly reveals he is a student from a prestigious high school, questioning their authority. This information gives the official pause, knowing the school's principal is a powerful protector. He weighs the risk of offending a potential genius, realizing the loss would not be worth it. Explaining his nephew's martial art was stolen while asking for cooperation in the investigation. This man then offers a sum of 10,000 yuan as compensation for the trouble, but Su Hong calmly counters with a demand for 30,000, confident they will not find the manual. And so the search begins, with Su Hong openly allowing them to check his belongings. Finding nothing, the agents report back to their leader, who orders them to pay up and let him go. A smirk crosses Su Hong's face as he recalls burning the manual, leaving no evidence behind. With the search over, the official locks down the area, but our boy just plans his next move. Back in the safety of the Warrior Base Hotel, Su Hong finally gets a moment to rest, and he checks his system, surprised to find he has accumulated over 500 martial Dao points. He calculates that using them all on blood energy would bring him close to the middle stage, but then considers his neglected spirit and physique stats, deciding to test their effects first. Pouring points into his spirit, he feels almost no discernible change in his body, yet upgrading his physique gives him an immediate and very noticeable surge of raw strength. After spending all his points, his stats are now massively boosted across the board, and a powerful red aura erupts from him as he feels an endless power coursing through his veins. This overwhelming energy gradually recedes, his body returning to its normal, less conspicuous form. Leaving him relieved, he will not have to explain his sudden, monstrous physique to anyone, An hour later, Su-hong arrives at the imposing Star City Warrior Association headquarters. He approaches the front desk, ready to register for the official warrior assessment test, and a staff member leads him through the facility, explaining the test's demanding requirements. Nearby warriors scoff at his youth and lack of a master, dismissing him as an amateur. But a flash of determination in his eyes proves he is far more than they assume. Inside the warrior assessment hall, Su-hong watches as another candidate fails his test, just missing the mark. Another young man steps up, passing the blood energy test with a score of 105 before moving on, and he faces the combat power machine, winding up for a powerful strike as the crowd watches intently. With a fierce yell, the candidate unleashes a devastating punch that slams into the testing equipment. And the display flashes an impressive score of 1763, easily clearing the requirement. Onlookers are stunned by his power, identifying him as a disciple of the famous Jiang Ming from Rage Thunder Dojo. Su-hong observes this display of arrogance, recalling that Jiang Ming's other known disciple is named Li Yan, and the smug new rival then turns to Su-hong, a condescending smirk on his face as he tells him it is his turn. He scoffs at Su-hong's presence, boasting that only a genius like himself should be taking the test so young. But his confidence shatters as he sees the results, wondering if the blood energy detector is broken, because Su-hong's score is a staggering 123, leaving the arrogant youth completely speechless. Trying to save face, the rival tells himself that blood energy is useless without combat power to back it up. Now Su-hong steps up for the combat test, the entire room waiting to see if his power matches his energy. He considers his recent breakthrough, calculating how much power to use without revealing his full strength. Deciding on 50% to be safe, Su-hong focuses his energy for the decisive blow. Su-hong unleashes a devastating punch, channeling his raw power into the testing machine. This sheer force of the blow sends the massive piece of equipment flying across the room, where it smashes violently against the far wall in a shower of sparks and metal. Onlookers are completely stunned, realizing he achieved this without using any martial skills, and the shattered display reveals an unbelievable score of 3004, far beyond any expectation. Watching from above, an examiner points out the monstrous display to his superior, but the older official simply nods, recognizing the young man responsible for the chaos. Meanwhile, in a lavish office, the association president sits at her desk, lost in thought, worrying about her city's lack of new talent and the pressure on her position. Suddenly, an aide bursts in with urgent news of a monster appearing at the assessment. Explaining a low-tier warrior just broke 3,000 points with pure strength, leaving her speechless. Down in the central hall, Su-hong is being escorted by an association staff member, who offers to guide him through the registration process and help him collect his stipend. But a new voice from the top of the stairs dismisses the guide, announcing she will take over personally, revealing the association president herself, who has come to meet the new prodigy. A woman with striking purple eyes introduces herself as President Wu Lingxian, summoning Su-hong to follow her. Su-hong complies, internally reeling at the revelation that this is the legendary Tier 5 warrior president. In the president's lavish office, the two sit down for a private conversation. She confirms his identity as a student, wryly noting his school was hiding a massive talent. Su-hong questions her motives, stating he only came to register and collect his stipend. She casually dismisses his concerns, explaining his certificate and stipend have already been processed. Instead, she offers to teach him personally, beginning with a question about guidance arts. He recites the textbook basics, that guidance arts absorb spiritual energy of different attributes. Wu Lingxian demonstrates by summoning a flame, explaining her art absorbs fire attribute spiritual energy, a power that not only strengthens her body but also imbues her attacks with destructive force. She unleashes a fiery blast, explaining that this offensive use is a whole other level of mastery. Su-hong is stunned, realizing guidance arts are for combat too, a detail his textbooks omitted. She then explains the 7 spiritual attributes, ranking thunder, metal, and fire as the most powerful. But the choice of art is not random, she explains, as it depends entirely on one's compatibility. Holding a glowing crystal ball, she reveals it tests this very thing, noting her own is an impressive 80%. This blonde official presents a glowing orb, challenging Su-hong to exceed 90% compatibility. And he considers her own genius-level 80% score, wondering if aiming higher is too arrogant. But as he touches the sphere, it erupts with a blinding red light that shocks them both. A massive flare of energy confirms his fire attribute compatibility is a perfect 100%. Grabbing him in excitement, she explains this means he can absorb fire energy without any loss. Revealing her own 80% compatibility is the very reason she became a Tier 5 warrior. She marvels that a small city could produce a prodigy of his unbelievable caliber. While Su-hong quietly wishes he had a thunder attribute instead of fire, instantly the orb crackles with golden lightning, its energy completely transforming, leaving the president staring in stunned silence at the impossible sight. Su-hong calmly informs her that his thunder compatibility also appears to be 100%, and she can only process this by calling him an inhuman monster in her mind. He then tests another attribute, the orb turning a brilliant green as her shock deepens. And a few minutes later, the president is left completely drained on the couch. Overwhelmed, she mutters that all his results are 100%, convinced this has to be a dream. A blonde swordswoman reflects on her past, once believing she was a top-tier genius, but facing a monster that defied all logic humbled her into feeling ordinary, and she realized that to defeat an existence beyond reason, one needs something equally illogical. A hero who also operates outside the bounds of common sense. In the present, she tells Su-hong he is an existence that ordinary people cannot comprehend, and Su-hong voices his frustration, lamenting the waste of focusing on only one of his 7 attributes. Our boy directly asks the president why she will not provide him with all 7 guidance arts, but she warns him that talent is limited, recalling a warrior who stagnated after trying to master them all. Insisting he only wants to test them before choosing, Su-hong gets her reluctant approval. So she changes the subject, asking about his school's upcoming monthly exam. With tensions rising on the battlefield, she explains that nations are forming genius training camps, and a recommendation slot is his if he takes first place in the exam. Remembering the family he lost in the Myriad Races War, Su-hong readily agrees to the challenge, his resolve fueled by memories as he vows to become strong enough to protect everyone. With his new goal set, the scene transitions to Su-hong's home later that night. Su-hong proudly shows his family his new warrior certificate, announcing his official status, and his aunt and uncle are overcome with emotion, crying tears of joy for his success. He explains the monthly stipend means his uncle can finally rest, becoming the family's new pillar, promising with a confident smile that he will be the one to support them from now on. Later that night, he begins his training, a fiery aura erupting around him as he meditates, his eyes burning with an intense orange light as he channels the raw power of the fire attribute, and he focuses this newfound energy into his fist, testing the guidance art for the first time. Steam rises from his knuckles as he holds the concentrated power in his hand, but the energy quickly fades, leaving him confused by its lack of any real destructive force. So he checks his system panel, confirming the flame guidance art has been successfully added. He then notices a level and a plus sign, realizing the art can be upgraded, a secret Wu Lingxian never shared. A smirk spreads across his face as he understands this leveling ability is unique to him alone, and he immediately wonders if his martial Dao points can be used to enhance these new skills. An alert warns him of insufficient points, however, forcing him to table that plan for now. Undeterred, Su-hong begins cultivating all 7 arts at once, his body exploding with immense power. Several hours later, Su-hong discovers the 7 spiritual energies are violently rejecting each other inside him, and he recalls the president's warning about the genius who stagnated trying to master them all. He confirms that while all 7 energies exist within him, he can only wield one at a time, but attempting to summon a second attribute proves disastrous. As the 2 powers violently repel each other and completely dissipate in a flash of light, wondering if thunder and fire can be fused, he forces the 2 volatile energies together, but the unstable combination immediately explodes in his hands once more. Frustrated but undeterred, Su-hong refuses to give up on this impossible task, trying again and again, causing small explosions on the rooftop throughout the night. As dawn finally breaks, his relentless efforts continue without pause. Pushing himself to the absolute limit, feeling he is on the verge of a breakthrough. With one final, desperate command, he pours all his will into forcing the elements to merge, and at last, the crackling lightning and roaring flame combine into a single, stable energy. Exhausted after an entire night of struggle, Su-hong looks at his creation, having finally succeeded, and now he stands ready to go outside and test the power of his new, fused art. At the Star City Martial Arena, Su-hong prepares to test his newfound abilities. Facing a Tier 3 combat machine he hopes will be strong enough to withstand his power, he decides to hold back, unleashing a strike with only 30% of his strength. But the score still exceeds his calculations by a massive 500 points, shocking him. Marveling at the raw force of his thunder attribute, he feels its energy crackle in his palm. Then wonders what kind of power he could unleash by fusing it with his fire attribute. Su-hong channels both elements into a single devastating blow against the testing unit, and the display shatters the 3,000-point barrier, leaving him speechless at the result. He realizes that with just 2 fused attributes, his strength already surpasses high-tier warriors, which makes him wonder about the unimaginable power of combining all 7 of his elements. And he immediately resolves to try fusing 3 attributes to test his limits further. But later that night, he lies completely drained on a rooftop after failing miserably. This difficulty of fusing 3 attributes proves to be immense, with no progress made at all, so he decides he must level up his guidance arts to succeed before the exam tomorrow. This next day at Star City High School, hundreds of students assemble for the monthly assessment. At the school assembly, the principal announces this month's exam is different due to the war, explaining the top 3 students will be sent to a new genius training camp, and the crowd erupts with excitement over the chance to be taught by Tier 7 grandmasters. Su-hong, however, questions why the president only offered him a slot for first place. He is then shocked to learn 2 classmates became Tier 1 warriors in the 10 days he was away. Discovering the principal had been giving them private lessons in the Thunder Rush Fist technique, this 2 newly promoted rivals, Chen Shan and Li Tu, trade arrogant taunts, vowing to crush each other. while the principal privately asks an official if he has found the 9-clap Thunder Rush Fist genius yet. That official is suddenly distracted by an approaching group of unfamiliar men, led by an imposing figure who seems to be looking for a confrontation. This principal recognizes the man as Jiangming, who challenges him to a spar between their top students, leaving the principal furious, realizing this is a deliberate attempt to embarrass his school. Jiangming continues his taunts, goading the principal by insulting his student's quality, but one of his disciples suddenly spots a familiar face in the crowd, pointing towards Su Hong, and Jiang Ming's gaze follows, finally locking onto the young man from the assessment hall. Jiang Ming's eyes widen as he recognizes the little monster from the assessment hall. A cold sweat breaks out as he realizes this prodigy is from the very school he came to humiliate. Knowing his own students stand no chance against such a talent, he decides to cut his losses. He publicly withdraws from the challenge, sarcastically admitting his disciples cannot compare and surrendering on the spot. This blatant mockery infuriates the Star City High officials, who see the insult for what it is. With the confrontation over, the monthly exam finally begins as Su Hong is called for his first match. His teacher worries aloud, noting his opponent is a quasi-warrior and advising him not to get injured. In the arena, his rival taunts him, asking if he will surrender or wait to be taken down, and the opponent charges forward, his fist glowing with power, ready to end the fight quickly. But Su Hong moves in a blur, intercepting him with a devastating kick to the head. This quasi-warrior is sent flying, instantly knocked unconscious from the single, overwhelming blow, leaving the entire crowd of students and teachers completely stunned by his hidden power. Su Hong stands over his fallen opponent, the one-shot victory silencing the entire arena. With his win declared, whispers spread that he must be a Tier 1 warrior as he advances to the finals. This principal can only watch in disbelief, regretting his failure to recognize this genius in his own school. This principal laments nearly burying Su Hong's talent, while Jiang Ming struggles to place his familiar face. Their attention shifts to the semifinal match, anticipating the clash between Chen Shan and Li Tu to conclude. And on the stage, the two rivals trade a furious barrage of blows, their power seemingly equal. Li Tu challenges his opponent to reveal his trump card, knowing their Thunder Rush Fist techniques are identical. Unleashing a powerful strike charged with crackling energy, aiming to overwhelm his rival. But Chen Shan counters with a fist wreathed in flames, warning him not to be so arrogant. Onlookers gasp in shock, realizing Chen Shan has mastered attribute projection with his powerful fire element. Unimpressed, Li Tu smirks as his own hand begins to glow with a different elemental power, stunning the audience once more as they recognize the even deadlier metal attribute taking form. He then unleashes a flurry of chain strikes, demonstrating a far more advanced application of his power, revealing he has mastered the 5-clap Thunder Rush Fist, a level beyond his opponents. This overwhelming technique slams into Chen Shan, sending him flying across the arena in defeat. And back in the stands, the principal notes Li Tu's incredible progress in just 10 days. Jiang Ming declares the final match decided, believing Su Hong cannot possibly win against such a foe. But the other official interjects, confidently placing a bet that Su Hong will take first place. In the arena, the final match is announced, Su Hong versus Li Tu for the championship. His opponent Li Tu mocks him for not running away and somehow squeezing into the finals, but Su Hong calmly retorts that after dealing with weaklings, he has finally found a worthy opponent. This rival smirks, declaring Su Hong is at best second place in the school. Then lunges forward to prove he is the obvious number one. Unleashing his energy, Li Tu vows to show the massive gap between them in a single move, and onlookers gasp, recognizing the 5-clap Thunder Rush Fist and declaring the match is over. But Su Hong's eyes simply glow with a fiery intensity, completely unfazed. His own fist ignites with power as he decides to test his physical limits head-on. Students in the crowd panic, screaming that he is insane for meeting the attack directly. And their fists meet in a blinding flash of light, unleashing a powerful shockwave. In the clash of raw power, Su Hong's strike holds firm against the Thunder Rush Fist, leaving Li Tu staring in disbelief, realizing his technique was instantly nullified. Before Su Hong unleashes a rapid barrage of his own, overwhelming his opponent completely. This rival can only think he is facing a monster as each heavy blow lands with crushing force. Spectators are stunned by Su Hong's raw power, matching a 5-clap technique without any skills of his own. And the principal celebrates wildly, convinced his school has produced a genius with a special physique. Jiang Ming, however, notes that Li Tu still has the advantage with his condensed attributes. But in the arena, Li Tu is sent sliding backward from the force of Su Hong's blow. Enraged, he gathers his energy, vowing that he alone will be the victor. He then leaps into the air for a powerful descending strike, demanding his opponent fall. But Su Hong is unimpressed, deciding his opponent's all-out attack ends the test of his physical limits. Since his rival will not hold back, our boy summons his own crackling golden lightning, preparing to show him what real power looks like with a counter of his own. Li Tu's face contorts in shock, realizing Su Hong can project attributes too. And the two principals are left speechless, staring in disbelief at the impossible display. They realize he has mastered the Thunder Guidance art, a terrifying combination with his physique. Their two powerful attacks collide in a blinding explosion of elemental energy, and Li Tu is blown away, his own technique completely overwhelmed by Su Hong's thunder. Su Hong smirks, declaring that since his opponent played his trump card, it is now his turn. Su-hong's eyes glow as he unleashes his own Thunder Rush Fist, launching a devastating flurry of lightning-fast strikes that overwhelm his rival, and Li Tu can only stare in disbelief, realizing it is the legendary nine-clap technique. With his opponent knocked out cold, Su-hong stands as the undisputed champion. In the stands, his teacher and the other official are left completely speechless by the display, their shock turning to celebration as they realize his technique is a perfect completion. While the principal finally understands he is the nine-clap genius who disappeared from the school, a monster Jiang Ming believes will dominate the other students at the training camp. Su-hong calmly accepts his victory, knowing this city is just a stepping stone for him, and the principal agrees, seeing this as the boy's chance to soar to greater heights. Later that evening, Su-hong returns to his apartment as the sun sets, announcing to his aunt and uncle that he took first place in the exam, which means he has officially earned his spot in the prestigious genius training camp. But their celebration is cut short by a sudden knock at the door, where an unfamiliar woman in a suit asks if she has found Su-hong's home. Back at home, Su-hong answers the door to find an unfamiliar woman asking for him. She introduces herself as the mother of the fourth-place student Lin Nyan, offering him 30,000 in cash to give up his training camp spot for her son. Su-hong and his family stare back, completely unimpressed by the bribe. This enrages the woman, who warns him the camp is a death trap for geniuses, insisting that someone from his poor background should just take the money and quit. Her words strike a nerve, and his aunt asks if the camp is truly that dangerous, while his uncle tries to calm her down, seeing the fear in her eyes. He then turns to Su-hong, asking if he can truly guarantee his own safety. Su-hong answers with a single, unwavering word, his resolve absolute. Bolstered by this, his uncle confronts the woman, declaring he trusts his family over her. Pointing toward the exit, he firmly tells her to please leave their home, and she storms off, shouting that he will just get eliminated from the camp anyway. Su-hong apologizes for not explaining the risks, but his uncle waves it off, giving a thumbs up and promising the family will support his choice no matter what. At home, his aunt and uncle express their concern, telling him his safety is all that matters. Su-hong reassures them with a confident smile, promising to be careful on his journey. Later that night, he stands alone on a rooftop, gazing out over the sprawling city lights. Thinking of his family's support, he resolves to grow stronger to protect their hard-earned peace. He checks his status screen, seeing his 285 martial Dao points and knowing it is not enough. Prioritizing his physical power first to compete with the geniuses at the upcoming training camp. Without hesitation, he pours all his points into his physique, feeling his body surge with power, and his mortal body stat jumps to 64.6%, leaving him wondering what lies beyond this limit. Suddenly, he notices his Thunder and Flame guidance arts have unexpectedly reached level 2. Confused at first, he realizes that simple cultivation is all that is needed to advance them. With this new understanding, he aims for another level up, summoning both fire and lightning. This next day breaks over the city, signaling the end of his intense training session. As his eyes snap open, they gleam with a newfound, concentrated energy. A successful night of cultivation has pushed both his Thunder and Flame arts to level 3. His status screen reveals an unexpected bonus, as his blood energy also increased from the upgrade. As Su-hong leaves for the training camp, his mother worries for his safety, but his father encourages him to aim for first place as their son departs. Watching him walk away, the father's hand trembles with unspoken concern. His wife points out his fear, but he admits he was just being strong for Su-hong. Meanwhile, Su-hong strides confidently through the city streets, ready for his next challenge, an expression of pure focus on his face for the trials that lie ahead. When a sleek red sports car suddenly screeches to a halt right before him, and the president behind the wheel coolly tells him to get in. With Su-hong now in the passenger seat, she speeds down the open highway, this two of them racing towards the training camp at incredible speed. He finally asks the president why she personally came to pick him up, who reveals she has some crucial warnings about the other participants, explaining that some warriors are already upper stage tier 1, nearing tier 2, and that even the weakest among them has mastered a B-rank technique. Su-hong considers this, unfazed by B-rank skills since his system lets him learn them instantly. This president praises Su-hong's unmatched talent but warns him he lacks the resources of his rivals. And with a confident smile, Su-hong thanks Sister Wu, understanding her words completely. Impressed by his composure, she notes his mindset is strong enough to handle the intense pressure. Their journey takes them along a winding road through the vast Tianlin mountain range. Inside the transport, a student panics about fierce beasts, but an official reassures them of their safety, explaining the range is massive, rich in energy, and home to beasts rivaling grandmasters. Competition in this territory is brutal, where even outering beasts are locked in a death struggle. These creatures are so vicious that even high-level warriors hesitate to enter this dangerous territory, and the van continues its journey deeper into the ominous, beast-infested forest. From the shadows of the woods, countless pairs of glowing red eyes watch them pass, making the other students grow nervous, fearing a sudden ambush from the darkness. Su-hong, however, remains perfectly calm, a smirk revealing he is actually enjoying the thrill of danger. At last, their transport pulls into the training camp, a heavily fortified and guarded compound. And as they step out, the students gaze at the other participants, wondering about their strength. They are met with the sight of other geniuses, each one looking like a seasoned and powerful warrior. Two other students stare in stunned silence as Su Hong makes his entrance, but he simply meets their gaze with a calm, confident smirk. Standing tall with his weapon, completely unfazed by the attention, an official gestures for them to come forward ready to begin the process, explaining they must wait for everyone to arrive for an entrance assessment. This delay annoys the other students who complain about the arrogant big clans, and just then a fleet of luxury cars pulls up, announcing the arrival of the elites. From the vehicles emerge several well-dressed individuals, clearly from powerful families. With three figures standing out, the city lord's son, a mind master, and a Lin family genius. They walk through the crowd with an air of superiority, parting the other students like water, and the trio stops near Su Hong, sizing up the competition with disdainful looks. Su Hong recognizes them as the top geniuses he was warned about, eager to test their strength. With everyone finally assembled, the official announces the rules for the entrance assessment. Revealing the camp is 30 kilometers away, deep within the dangerous Tianlin mountain range. To enter, each participant must hunt a fierce beast and retrieve a special token from within it. A fellow student warns of the test's true danger, a 30-kilometer trek through the beast-infested Tianlin mountain range, but Su Hong sees it as a chance to hunt for extra martial Dao points along the way. This instructor clarifies that facing an unbeatable beast means elimination, though their lives will be spared, sparking outrage as the students complain that the test is based purely on luck and not skill. Their protests are met with a cold lecture on the unfairness of the real world, where the law of the battlefield is to avoid risks and prey upon the weak. An arrogant student in a suit chimes in, calling the complainers trash who should just quit, which provokes another participant to challenge him on the spot, daring him to fight. But the instructor intervenes, stating that while fighting is banned here, anything goes in the mountains. A tense standoff ensues as the two rivals glare at each other, crackling with hostile energy. Su Hong realizes the camp's brutal rules are designed to encourage infighting among the students, and a new plan forms in his mind to farm points by defeating his fellow competitors. With a final command, the instructor officially begins the assessment, telling everyone to charge, and the entire group surges forward into the wilderness in a chaotic stampede of ambition. This race for survival begins as the students disappear down the treacherous mountain paths. In the forest, two participants clash, one vowing to send the other home immediately, and one unleashes a fire punch while his rival counters with a blast of icy energy. Their elemental fists collide in a powerful, explosive impact, a flurry of strikes following as their energy tears through the surrounding woods. But from a high branch, another person watches their entire battle unfold. It is Su Hong, who finds their combat strength unimpressive and not worth his time. Deciding to hunt stronger beasts instead, he turns to leave the noisy skirmish behind, just as the two fighters lock hands, one mocking the other's humble background. His insults about poor trash echo through the trees, stopping Su Hong in his tracks. A dark smile spreads across our boy's face as he sees an opportunity for easy points, and stepping between them, he calmly tells the two brawling students to stop fighting. With a club resting on his shoulder, he offers them a different opponent to face instead. Now united, they turn on him, dismissing him as another piece of trash to be eliminated. But Su Hong clarifies his challenge with a smirk. They should team up and fight him together. Enraged by the disrespect, one of the students lunges forward to attack him head-on. Su Hong effortlessly dodges the incoming punch, leaving his attacker completely stunned, and with a swift counterkick, he sends the first student flying across the clearing. His ally watches in disbelief, shocked that someone of equal strength was defeated instantly. Before the second student can react, Su Hong closes the distance, declaring it is his turn, and a look of pure terror crosses the arrogant student's face as the attack closes in. Su Hong's club connects with a devastating, bone-crunching impact, shattering his opponent's confidence, sending the kid reeling backwards through the air, completely overwhelmed by the blow. He stands over his fallen rivals, lecturing them for looking down on ordinary cultivators. In a control room, officials watch the one-sided beatdown with utter astonishment, but the lead instructor clarifies that unless they quit, their assessment is not over. Back in the forest, one of the defeated students begins to stir, groaning in pain, his hand flying to his throbbing face as he slowly regains consciousness, and he immediately scrambles away from Su Hong, telling him to stay back. This humiliated student screams threats of revenge, vowing to make him pay for this. While his partner fumes, convinced he only lost because he underestimated the kid. Defeated and bruised, the two students sit in stunned silence after their loss, but a newfound respect forms as they shake hands, admitting their own faults, and now united, they walk off vowing to find Su Hong and get their revenge. Meanwhile, Su Hong races through the forest, his spear cutting through the air, his eyes sharp with focus as he searches for his next target in the wilderness. From a high branch, he spots a large pack of giant tusked boars below, their red eyes glowing with feral rage as they sense his presence. Without hesitation, he leaps down to confront the charging herd head-on, unleashing his thunder fist and smashing into the beasts with crackling energy. And the powerful strike sends a shockwave tearing through the entire pack. He collects his martial Dao points, noticing the rewards diminishing as he grows stronger. Then begins searching the fallen beasts for the special token he needs. But after checking several carcasses, he finds absolutely nothing. It dawns on him that only higher-level fierce beasts will have the tokens. Half an hour later, he pushes deeper into the forest, seeking a worthy opponent. Su-hong wonders why the forest is suddenly empty of the usual low-level beasts, when a massive black tiger suddenly lunges from the canopy, ready to tear him apart. But our boy's eyes just gleam, recognizing it as a powerful upper-stage creature. He counters with a devastating energy strike, piercing straight through the beast's skull, and the tiger crashes into the earth, its power instantly extinguished. Not finished yet, Su-hong raises his heavy weapon for a final decisive blow, bringing it down with crushing force to ensure the kill is complete. With the beast slain, he reflects on how simple it was, earning 35 martial Dao points, and begins searching the massive corpse for the required assessment token. He finally pulls out the bloody prize after a frustrating 3-hour search. Realizing stronger beasts are rarer deeper in, he analyzes the distribution of his prey, and calculates that hunting weaker creatures on the outskirts is a better way to farm points. Deciding quantity is better than quality, he clutches the token with a new goal in mind. And with only 5 hours remaining, he sets off to maximize his mortal body progress. A trail of brutal carnage is left behind him as his hunt begins in earnest. He leaves a trail of defeated beasts in his wake, cutting through the forest. When a massive Tier 1 bear lunges from behind, its claws swiping at him, but Su-hong easily sidesteps the attack, his own fist glowing with power, finally finding a worthy opponent after taking down dozens of weaker creatures. Leaping forward, he meets the beast's charge with a fiery, explosive punch, and the monster roars in agony from the powerful impact. Its massive eye reflects Su-hong's determined face just before the final blow, as our boy brings his fist down with the force of a meteor, shattering the ground and felling the powerful creature in a single strike. Bloodied but triumphant, he realizes his body alone can now defeat mid-tier beasts. And his status screen reveals 254 new points, bringing him closer to maxing out his physique. With over 100 students still in the test, he knows exactly where to get the rest. But just then, a deafening roar echoes through the entire mountain range, shaking the trees, making Su-hong freeze in place, wondering what could make such a sound. He looks up to see a legendary golden rock beast king descending from the sky. This majestic creature descends from the heavens, its wings whipping up a furious gale, and Su-hong struggles to stand, stunned by the shockwave from a single flap. All around him, the forest is torn apart by the sheer force of its presence. He scrambles for high ground, staring in disbelief at the monstrous beast. A humbling realization dawns on him: his own strength is nothing before a true powerhouse. But then his eyes catch something unexpected in the sky, revealing the golden rock is actually chasing a small, glowing orb of light. From the light emerges a powerful man who taunts the beast from above, and with a surge of energy, he vows to beat the creature into submission. A golden beam erupts from his hand, striking the massive bird head-on, causing the beast to screech in fury as it reels from the unexpected attack. This mysterious warrior roars, charging forward with blinding speed and power, unleashing a rapid barrage of energy-infused strikes against the rock's body. His fist connects in a brilliant flash, staggering the legendary Beast King. With a bloody hand, the man orders the golden rock to leave, claiming this land for himself. This golden rock issues a warning, but a powerful man in robes dismisses the beast entirely, and with a confident smirk, the elder shows no fear of the legendary creature. He reveals himself as Qin Tianli, a Tier 7 Grandmaster, announcing the assessment will continue. Su-hong watches in awe from below, finally witnessing the overwhelming power of a Tier 7 warrior. And instead of fear, a burning determination fills him, vowing to one day reach that level himself. His task complete, the Grandmaster soars back towards the assessment camp below, casually explaining to his subordinates that he was just borrowing the rock's training grounds. Two Tier 5 warriors, Lin Zi and Bai Mu, remark that the Grandmaster is even stronger than rumored, and now he wants to see which students manage to withstand the rock's immense pressure. Inside the control room, surveillance displays show most participants were completely paralyzed by the aura, but one student catches his eye, someone who endured the pressure right after a major fight. His subordinate identifies the boy as Wang Tianchuo, the Star City Lord's son with a powerful physique. While another screen highlights Lin Xingsh, who used an incredible movement technique to escape. They also spot Xiao Yan, a spiritual mind master, using her mental force to create a protective barrier. This Grandmaster asks if anyone else is worth noting as his subordinate lists more promising candidates. In the control room, an official notes only clan members withstood the rock's pressure, but the Grandmaster dismisses the city's talent as overrated and unimpressive. Just then, another observer rushes in, pointing frantically at one of the monitors, showing Su-hong not only conscious but actively hunting beasts with immense power. This female official is completely stunned, stammering that the boy is a monster, while her superior scolds her for being so dramatic in front of a Grandmaster. But the other man is equally shocked, barely able to process what he is seeing, and the old man chides them both for their lack of composure over a single student. Until his own eyes widen at the boy's stats, 100% compatibility across all attributes. Su-hong's file reveals his perfect martial arts and the ability to cultivate all 7 arts simultaneously. A shocking revelation that this is a once-in-a-thousand-years prodigy. He clutches the report with trembling hands, realizing he has just struck absolute gold. His assistant explains the boy's low blood energy is due to him training all 7 arts at once, which only makes the Grandmaster more ecstatic about his unprecedented potential. As participants begin arriving at the camp, the Grandmaster decides to see this prodigy for himself. This three elite geniuses arrive at the camp, paying their respects to an elder named Grandmaster Cheon, while other survivors trickle in, still shaken after their encounter with the legendary Beast King. After 7.5 hours, Grandmaster Cheon grows impatient, mocking the weakness of the latecomers. But his arrogance turns to panic when he realizes Su Hong still has not shown up. And just then, a lone warrior emerges from the forest, spear resting on his shoulder. It is Su Hong, blood-soaked but uninjured, admitting he got carried away farming points. His brutal appearance stuns the other students, who wonder how many beasts he slaughtered. Watching from the crowd, his two former rivals seethe with anger, plotting their revenge inside the camp. Even the elite trio takes notice, intrigued by the skilled newcomer who arrived at the last second. With the 8-hour deadline passed, an instructor officially ends the test for all who failed to arrive, and begins introducing the camp's advanced facilities like the gravity and combat rooms. He then reveals the martial skills pavilion where rank rewards can be exchanged for, exciting Su Hong and the others, who realize they have come to the right place. But there is a catch: access to everything requires a currency called contribution points. This only way to earn them, the instructor declares, is through outstanding performance in training. This instructor dismisses the group, sending the injured to rest while the others are free to train, and Su Hong enters his private room, realizing it is the perfect place to level up in secret. With 354 martial Dao points saved up, he begins the process of maxing out his mortal body. As red energy engulfs him, his physique's percentage rapidly climbing toward its limit. Reaching 100%, his body triggers a powerful evolution, his eyes glowing intensely, and glowing meridians flare across his chest as his entire system is fundamentally rewritten. A massive shockwave of power erupts from his body, violently shaking the entire room. But as the energy finally settles, Su Hong exhales, the intense transformation now complete. He marvels at the raw physical power now coursing through his veins. A new status screen revealing his physique has evolved into the legendary Overlord body. Eager to test his new limits, Su Hong immediately prepares to leave his room, casually grabbing his spear with a grip far stronger than before. This C-rank alloy weapon immediately cracks and bends under his immense new strength, and Su Hong winces, momentarily forgetting how expensive these weapons are to replace. Remembering he found it for free, he sets a new goal to earn points for an rank spear. Su Hong learns that wearing a weighted vest earns points, eager to test his own limits. And inside the storage room, a crowd gathers around a student lifting a staggering 3,000 kilograms. This prodigy, Wang Tianchuo, even leaps with the immense weight, shocking everyone with his power, while Grandmaster Cheon and an instructor watch from the side, acknowledging the boy's monstrous strength. From the control room, the Grandmaster attributes this feat to Wang Tianchuo's rare savage god body, but his subordinate then asks how to approach Su Hong about cultivating 7 arts simultaneously. This Grandmaster advises caution, believing a direct order will only make the proud genius resist, so he asks his other aide if the warriors for a surprise night raid are ready yet. His subordinate smirks, confident this sudden test will make the new students suffer greatly. Revealing the elder's true plan is to have a powerful warrior defeat Su Hong and humble him. An official worries this is too harsh, as Su Hong's energy is far below his opponent's. But Grandmaster Cheon is ruthless, declaring that if the boy's spirit breaks, he is worthless anyway. Meanwhile, an announcement calls all students to watch Wang Tianchuo train in the gravity room. But Su Hong decides to check it out later, instead exploring a quiet equipment room by himself, where he finds the smart bracelet used for calculating their contribution scores. In the training hall, Su Hong inspects the racks of heavy-weighted vests, his eyes widening at a set of 10-ton alloy behemoths no ordinary person could wear. He tests his own limits, finding a weight that is heavy but will cripple his speed, and then explodes into motion, a blur of speed even under the immense burden. Strapping on a vest he is satisfied with, he decides this is the best he can manage for now. His thoughts turn to Wang Tianchuo and the other elites, guessing they are slightly stronger. So he decides to go watch them train, hoping to pick up some useful experience. Outside the gravity room, a crowd murmurs about Wang Tianchuo entering with a 3-ton vest, a monitor showing the prodigy struggling under double gravity, a 6-ton total load. But Su Hong is unimpressed, realizing he'd underestimated the power of his savage god body. He glances over at his 2 former rivals who are standing by nervously, and they try to back out of training, afraid of being embarrassed by the others. Su Hong questions their pathetic reasoning, clearly disappointed in their lack of courage. Ignoring their pleas to wait, he confidently strides toward the gravity room alone, as the crowd scoffs, assuming he is shamelessly trying to show off without a vest. Su Hong enters the gravity room, a rare opportunity he refuses to waste. And inside the high-tech chamber, he prepares to push his body to its absolute limits. He sets the gravity to 1.5 times normal, a challenging but sustainable starting point, and the immense pressure immediately slams down on him, testing his physical endurance, while other students watch on a monitor, mocking him as the weakest for such a low setting. Ignoring them, Su Hong begins cultivating, finding his training speed has drastically increased under the strain. And 2 hours pass as he pushes through the grueling session, his energy flaring around him. Sweat pours down his face, but his glowing eyes show unbreakable resolve. His status screen confirms the success, all his guidance arts have leveled up. Satisfied with the results, he powers down the machine, the training session complete, then emerges from the chamber completely exhausted but clearly satisfied with his progress. This onlookers immediately start mocking him for leaving so early, calling him weak. But Su-hong just unzips his jacket, revealing a heavy weighted vest underneath. Leaving his tormentors completely speechless, their jaws dropping in utter shock. They realize he was wearing a 500 kg vest the whole time, a feat of incredible strength. This onlookers dismiss Su-hong's strength, claiming he is nothing compared to the monster Wang Tianchuo. And just then the gravity room door hisses open, revealing the prodigy after his grueling 2-hour session. He rips off his vest with a smirk, his physical toughness clearly #1 in the entire camp, leaving all the other students to stare in awe, completely intimidated by his monstrous display of power. Wang Tianchuo rolls his shoulders, commenting on how light it feels now after such a terrifying load. While Lin Xingsh challenges him to a speed contest, a proposal Wang Tianchuo scoffs at. Hearing the mention of an rank movement technique, Su-hong's interest is immediately piqued, as his new overlord body is powerful, but he knows he desperately needs a top-tier movement skill. This group moves to the movement training room, a high-tech chamber for the soaring Hong steps technique, where onlookers whisper about the room's difficulty. Stunned Lin Xingsh is attempting the maximum level 10. Inside the chamber, Lin Xingsh becomes a phantom, effortlessly dodging a storm of deadly energy beams, leaving a trail of glowing petals as he glides through the chaos with impossible grace. Su-hong decides he must learn this skill, immediately using his system to begin cultivating the technique, and with a new resolve in his eyes, he takes his first step into the training area, causing the entire crowd to turn in shock, wondering what this newcomer is planning to do. In a virtual training room, Su-hong practices a new technique while others mock his ambition. But his body flawlessly mimics the rank movement art, his mastery rapidly increasing, and in mere moments the system shows his comprehension soaring toward completion. A notification confirms he has learned his first rank movement skill, the soaring Hong steps. Returning to reality, he realizes he only copied the flamboyant style, not the true essence. So he decides to visit the Fierce Beast room to farm points and boost his energy. On his way out, other students stare in awe, praising his flashy and impressive moves, leaving Su-hong horrified as he realizes he performed the embarrassing poses in public. He flees the scene as others beg for an encore, vowing never to use that template again. But as he walks away, a sharp instinct tells him that he is being followed. His two rivals watch from the shadows, planning to ambush him outside the Fierce Beast room. Meanwhile, outside the massive facility, a large crowd of students has already gathered, where Wang Tianchuo challenges Xiao Yan to a beast-slaying contest to prove who is #1. Boasting about his savage god body, but she warns him not to underestimate a spiritual mind master. And Su-hong, overhearing their challenge, decides to watch their fight before farming his own points. On a monitor, Su-hong watches the spiritual mind master Xiao Yan leap toward some beasts, and he is stunned to see her floating, a technique he thought was reserved for grandmasters. With a single gesture, she instantly eliminates 3 powerful black tigers at once, as golden streaks of light tear through the beasts, leaving him baffled by the attack. Suddenly, a monstrous 3-eyed bear looms over her, its red aura radiating pure rage. Its eyes glowing with fury as it prepares to tear the girl apart. But Xiao Yan effortlessly lifts the massive creature with her spiritual force, completely immobilizing it. She then unleashes a storm of telekinetic blades, slicing through her helpless captive with ease, and at that moment Su-hong realizes the streaks of light are daggers controlled by her mind. He smirks, finally understanding the overwhelming power of a true spiritual mind master. Just then, another screen erupts in light, showing a massive golden sword that shocks the crowd, where a different warrior summons a colossal crystal blade to face off against a giant serpent, his face a mask of pure concentration as he channels immense energy into the weapon, which then obliterates the serpent in a devastating explosion of golden light. Su-hong notes the weapon was summoned from thin air, guessing it must weigh several tons. A white-haired student smugly reveals an rank martial skill exclusive to spiritual mind masters, shocking the other recruits who wonder how all the elites have such powerful techniques, and he confirms Wang Tianchuo also has an offensive rank skill, leaving the crowd speechless. Hearing this, Su-hong realizes this camp is crawling with top-tier abilities, just as a monitor shows Wang Tianchuo destroying a beast with what looks like a martial skill. But Su-hong recognizes it as pure physical strength, deciding to observe him later. His own goal is to become a spiritual mind master, but his spirit stat is far too low, so he resolves to go on a killing spree to earn the necessary martial Dao points. As he enters a combat simulation room, his 2 old rivals spot him from the shadows, deciding it is the perfect opportunity to ambush him while everyone else is distracted. Suddenly, one of them lets out a gasp of shock, nearly giving away their position, for they are both staring in disbelief at the monitor for Su-hong's training room. This screen shows Su-hong surrounded by a dozen massive, bloodthirsty Tier 1 beasts. Panicked, the rivals realize it is too late to get an instructor, certain he is about to die. Inside the chamber, however, Su-hong simply cracks his knuckles, ready for the slaughter. With a confident smirk, Su-hong beckons the beasts forward, ready for a fight, and the monstrous creatures lunge at him, a terrifying wall of claws and fangs. But Su-hong effortlessly vaults over a devastating pincer strike, dodging with impossible speed. In midair, he gathers crackling blue energy in both hands for a powerful counterattack, then slams his fists down, unleashing a blast that pulverizes the monster below him. His hands then glow with a new power, forming sharp blades of pure energy, and he becomes a whirlwind of destruction, slicing through the entire horde with brutal efficiency. Watching from outside, his rivals are stunned, realizing his movement technique looks familiar. One of them recognizes it with dawning horror. It is the rank soaring Hung steps. They cannot believe it, speculating he must have learned it just by watching Lin Xingsh. A feat of talent so monstrous that one suggests they completely abandon their revenge. But the other refuses, gripping a club, unable to swallow such a deep humiliation. His friend just points back to the monitor, telling him to look again before deciding. And as they watch, the club slips from his grasp and shatters, his will completely broken. For the screen shows Su Hong standing victorious over the corpses of every single beast. After the slaughter, Su Hong realizes the stronger he gets, the fewer points each beast provides. And just then, a new wave of glowing-eyed predators emerges from the shadows. But standing atop the pile of corpses, he declares there is no time to rest. A massive beast lunges down with razor-sharp claws, aiming to tear him apart. Yet Su Hong remains perfectly calm, his fist glowing with immense golden energy. He unleashes a devastating Vajra fist, blasting the creature with pure force, sending a shockwave of power through the room that decimates the entire horde. This few remaining beasts now cower in fear, slowly backing away from the lone warrior. So with glowing eyes, Su Hong taunts them, demanding they hand over their points. Terrified, the creatures turn to flee, but he gives them no chance to escape the slaughter. While outside, his two rivals stare at the monitor in complete, horrified silence. One of them nervously suggests they should just forgive Su Hong and get out of there fast, recalling how even the top prodigies only managed to kill 8 or 9 beasts. Another student stops them, asking if they got the revenge they were planning on. But the rivals can only sweat, knowing if they'd attacked, they'd be the ones on the ground. This crowd watches as Wang Tianchuo and Xiao Yan emerge from the fierce beast room, revealing their staggering scores of 280 and 270 points respectively. A feat that shocks the onlookers, who realize they must have killed dozens of beasts. In stark contrast, one student laments only earning 50 points for their efforts, while others check their own pathetic scores, feeling utterly defeated by the gap. They resign themselves to fighting for 4th place, knowing the top 3 are untouchable. But Su Hong's two rivals smirk, hinting at an even greater monster among them. An hour later, the inside of a training room is a scene of absolute carnage, where a mountain of slain beasts lies piled high around a single warrior. Su Hong sits atop the corpses, catching his breath after his solo slaughter, admitting that even his overlord body is exhausted and he is still far from his goal. His bracelet confirms a massive haul of 700 contribution points from his rampage, so he immediately heads to the martial skills pavilion under the night sky. Inside, Su Hong approaches the counter to see what his points can buy. But the list of rank skills reveals they are all far beyond his current budget. Su Hong weighs his options at the exchange, noting the high cost of skills versus affordable pills. But the board clerk dismisses him, assuming the low-level student cannot afford anything of value. He inquires about spirit-gathering pills, learning they offer a powerful one-time boost to his stats. And checking the catalog, he sees the most potent version costs a steep 500 points. To the clerk's utter shock, Su Hong confidently requests that very same Tier 4 pill, calmly confirming his expensive purchase, completely unfazed by her disbelief. His bracelet flashes with 700 points, leaving the one smug clerk completely speechless, her attitude instantly changing as she hands over the pill before he asks about a new weapon. After purchasing a dual-attribute spear, Su Hong heads back under the moonlit sky, returning to the quiet of his private room to use his new acquisitions. This C-rank Thunderfire spear stands ready, a powerful addition to his growing arsenal, while his status screen reveals incredible progress from just a single day's training. Opening the ornate box, he calculates he is just 25.5 spirit points away from his goal. He holds the glowing pill, hoping this single item will push him over the final threshold. And swallowing it without hesitation, he knows becoming a spiritual mind master is within his grasp. This Tier 4 pill dissolves, unleashing a torrent of pure spiritual energy through his body, and instantly a powerful green force surges from his core, coursing through every vein. His mind expands with incredible clarity, allowing him to perceive his entire room in a grid of energy. And when Su Hong opens his eyes, his perception of the world has completely changed. A quick check of his stats confirms the pill boosted his spirit by 24 points, reaching 50.5. But after calculating his martial Dao points, he realizes he is just half a point short of his goal. Frustrated, he decides to rest for the night, resolving to finish his hunt in the morning. Meanwhile, in the training camp storage room, a group of older students has been assembled, where they gather in groups, murmuring amongst themselves as they review their new assignments. Some of the senior students complain about having to serve as sparring partners for the new recruits, with one boasting that none of these brats would have stood a chance against him in his prime. Another laughs, revealing he has been assigned to Wang Tianchuo, a prodigy with 340 blood energy, while his friend smugly shows off his own assignment, a powerful spiritual mind master. This first student then looks at his own sheet, shocked to see he is assigned to Su Hong, whose pathetic 123 blood energy makes the others question why he was even given a partner. A white-haired grandmaster arrives, having apparently missed none of Su Hong's performance, and he informs a top student that Su Hong's combat strength far exceeds his low energy level. This revelation stuns the other students, who wonder what kind of monster Su Hong truly is. But the chosen warrior complains about being ordered to fight such a low-level junior. With a smack to the head, the Grandmaster orders him to stop whining and crush Su Hong's spirit. So the student senses a personal grudge, asking for permission to cripple his target. To his shock, the Grandmaster gives a sinister grin and promises a reward for doing so. And with their orders clear, the three elite students leap into action to hunt Su Hong down. Later that night, the training facility seems quiet and peaceful under the stars. But inside a darkened hallway, a team of masked assassins suddenly springs an ambush. Their target is caught completely off guard, yelling that he has not even put on his pants, for Su Hong has just been woken from his bed by the sudden, violent intrusion. His door is instantly carved with a massive X from a powerful energy blade, as an assailant bursts in, swinging a glowing purple sword with lethal intent, which smashes into the floor right where Su Hong was sleeping just a moment ago. Su Hong braces for a fight, suspecting his new foe might be an assassin from the myriad races, and gripping his new spear, he sizes up the mysterious warrior approaching in the darkness. This attacker leaps down with a glowing purple blade, mocking Su Hong's low rank, but our boy is surprised to realize his opponent is actually a high-level human warrior. A confident smirk spreads across his face, seeing this as the perfect opportunity. For this one kill will grant him the final points to become a spiritual mind master. His foe scoffs, utterly baffled that a lower-stage warrior would dare to fight back, and their weapons collide in a blinding flash as Su Hong meets the charge head-on. This assassin's arrogance shatters, realizing Su Hong's power is far greater than he anticipated, feeling an overwhelming force that seems impossible for a Tier 1 fighter to possess. With immense pressure, Su Hong pushes down, completely unimpressed by his opponent's rank, letting out a fierce battle cry as he channels all his power into a single decisive blow, which sends the assassin flying backward through a wall in a devastating display of force. Staggering to his feet, the man can only stare in terror, calling Su Hong a monster. But his purple blade hums with energy, hinting this fight between warriors is not over yet. A pink-haired challenger appears in his room, wielding a flaming sword and mocking his raw strength. But Su Hong calmly analyzes the fire attribute skill, his own spear crackling with lightning. This opponent's blade pulses with a menacing purple aura, ready to strike. Leaping high, the challenger unleashes a B-rank martial art, daring Su Hong to face it. And he brings down a devastating blazing slash, a massive wave of pure energy. Su Hong meets it head-on, channeling immense power through his spear, their weapons colliding in a blinding flash of purple and gold light, shattering the ground in a powerful explosion of raw force. When the dust settles, Su Hong stands completely unscathed over his fallen foe, his opponent disarmed and utterly defeated on the floor. This challenger is horrified, realizing Su Hong blocked a B-rank skill with pure elemental power. And he tries to save face, claiming Su Hong only won because he lacks proper spear techniques. With a knowing smirk, Su Hong agrees he does not know any thunder techniques, then asks what happens when he adds a little fire to the mix, as his Thunderfire spear erupts in a dual elemental storm, leaving his rival speechless. This defeated warrior stares in shock, recognizing the impossible feat of attribute fusion.